low, and we're setting it low for 2 microseconds. Now that value is not particularly critical. You just want to make sure you start off in a low state. Then after that, we're going to send the trigger pin high for 10 microseconds. This is the high part of our 10 microsecond pulse, and then we'll send it low again. So this in effect creates a 10 microsecond pulse to the trigger pin. Now we're going to negative response to get back. So our duration is going to use our unit of pulse internet. It's very conveniently negative duration of a pulse, which is exactly what we want. Now it has two parameters. The pin that we're monitoring is the echo scan. The pin is connected to the echo out to the HCSR04. And high, what that means is that we're measuring the amount of time that the pulse stays high, because the pulse internet can equally be used for measuring low pulses, but in our case we want to know how long it stays high. Now with budget duration, we're going to calculate it using the speed of sound. We use 343 meters per second as our speed of sound, and so we're going to calculate the distance with that. Now remember, the distance that we're measuring is going to be half of the result, because we actually have a sender signal out with what bounce back. So we're going to divide the duration by 2, and then multiply it by our speed of sound. And then after that, we can send the results to the serial monitor. Now the sensor has a maximum range of 400 centimeters, and a minimum range of 2 centimeters. So any reading outside that range is invalid, so we're going to put a couple ranges. Otherwise, we're going to put a distance in centimeters, we're going to put a couple of delays in there, and we're going to go over this over and over again. So there's a constantly feedback, the distance between the sensor and the device that's reflecting the signal. So now let's see how it works. Okay, let's hit our first check to test. I've got my reflecting circuit, so let's start the serial monitor and see how accurate it's after this. So we start the serial monitor with the cool serial monitor. And it's reading some readings back, and these are probably various readings from items on my workbench. So let's put this down at the, let's say, 30 centimeter mark. So here at 30 centimeters. And we did some readings at the 30 below 1 there, well, and I'm saying close to 30. So take a look at it, that's very close to 30. Let's move it down, we'll put it down to 10 centimeters. So here at 10 centimeters, this is level 4 inches. Again, you're doing 9.9, it's a little low, but it's close. It's 20 centimeters then. 13.16, 19.57. Seem very close, but seem a little bit off. And the second two, we're going to take 50 meters down. And we're a little low, but not terrible. So you got to be in a pretty good ballpark range, but it can be out of tune by at least a half a centimeter in some particular cases. Now I'm going to show you some tricks you can use to increase the accuracy of this, but before I do, I want to show you another way that you can write a sketch for this using a library called NewTune. Libraries are additional functions that you can add to your Arduino, and a NewTune library is specifically made to have functions for ultrasonic sensors like the HCSR04. So let's take a look at that now. So here's a sketch we've written to use the NewTune library. Now when you use a library, you need to include the library, so you need to include statements to include NewTune.h.h is the extension to a library. After that, we'll define some variables. We'll define trigger pin as pin 10, echo pin as pin 13. Again, if you use different pins on your Arduino, so between the 10 and 13 is the natural ones to be used. And the third variable called match distance. Now, the NewTune library is actually usable by a number of different ultrasonic sensors, some of which have different capabilities in the HCSR04. The HCSR04 has a maximum distance of 400 centimeters, which is why I use 400 here. But for a different sensor, you might want a different value. Calling NewTune is very, very simple. It's the NewTune sonar, and then the trigger pin, the echo pin, and match distance. That's all there is to it. So it's very simple to call the NewTune library. Then we define a flow of distance. You don't need duration in this case, because NewTune is going to handle all of this internally. Our setup is very simple. We just start serial monitor, nothing else. And then we go into the loop. And the loop is also very, very simple. Our distance simply equals sonar.pin with force pm. And this will give us our distance in centimeters. NewTune can also give you the distance in inches if you wish. And then once you send the results to the serial monitor. Before we send this up to our Arduino, let's make sure that it compiles correctly. Now let's have to do that. We do that with a little check mark here. We can check for code errors and other things. So let's check and see what happens. And as you can see, bad things happen. So the problem with our sketch over here, and the problem is we include the library, but this library is not actually being installed in our Arduino IDE. And so we need to do this. What we will do is we will go and get the library. Now there are a couple of sources for the same library. You can get it off of Bitbucket, or you can get it off of GitHub. I'm going to take this off of GitHub. So I have the links, by the way, at the bottom of the video, and also I've got the links from the article on the Hero.WordPress website, so you can get the link for that. So I'm going to go to GitHub to this page. I'm going to download a zip file of the library. So I download the zip file, and in this case, it's in my downloads directory. And then I'm going to go back to my Arduino IDE. Now what I need to do is go on the sketch, and include library, and add zip file. And go to my downloads. And there's the thing. We'll add that. The library can add it to my library and variable notes here. So let's compile this again, see what happens. And that looks a bit better. It seems to compile. So let's send it up to our Arduino and see how the NewTune library functions. Okay, I've got my reflecting circuits. I'm going to give the NewTune a try. Now, let's first of all start off at, let's say, 30 centimeters. And we're going to put it on a serial monitor. I've got 30 centimeters right in the nose. Isn't that great? Let's move down to 20 centimeters. Again, 20 centimeters. But you might be noticing something here. Let's go for 40 centimeters. Oh, great, we're going to read 40. Oh, no, we're going to read 39. Oh, no, it's 40. You see what I'm talking about? The NewTune library limited the volume down to a 1 centimeter resolution, and this turns out this is by design. The developer of the library felt this was not defective of accuracy of plus or minus half a centimeter, and didn't do anything to improve fractional centimeters. However, this may or may not be true in your application. In some applications where the robot is trying to keep from driving into a wall, the centimeter resolution is probably fine. If you're building a measurement device, though, it's completely out of the question. Also, keep in mind that NewTune can be run in imperial mode. In imperial mode, the resolution is even and it's just quite a variant. So you might think that the NewTune library itself is not really that useful if you want to do something accurate. There actually is a way that this will get more accuracy from the NewTune library. So here's a NewTune sketch where you're able to calculate the duration of the distance. What we'll do is we'll use the NewTune library to obtain the duration of the signal. And then use the same amount of actually did before to calculate the distance. So this is really just an analogy of the first and second sketches that we looked at today. The first one is to start off the same as the last sketch. We include the NewTune library and we set up the same variable, trigger pin, echo pin, and maximum distance. Then we'll call NewTune the same fact, a passive trigger pin, echo pin, and maximum distance. Now we define three flexes into the original step, because once again, you're going to use duration to calculate distance. So we'll set up routine, we'll start the serial monitor, and then we'll get into the loop. And this is where we see the one difference in the routine net. You'll remember in the last sketch that sonar.pin and this pin returned the value of the distance to centimeters. But if you use sonar.p instead, you would get the duration back. And then from then, it's simply just going to move it in our first step. Use the duration divided by 2 and multiply it by speed of sound, and then we'll send the results out to the stereo monitor. So let's see how this is improved over these steps. Okay, I've got my reflecting surface, and I'm ready to test my loop into steps using duration instead of distance. So we'll start off, and I'm going to get the 20 centimeter mark. And 19.74 and 19.81 is close. 40 centimeter mark. It really depends on the hold this, because I'm probably not going to get that steady, but it looks like I'm looking around the centimeter right on there. 10 centimeters, 9.86, 9.79, 9.93, so the click goes there. And we'll go back to 50 centimeters over here. And 59.25, etc. So as you can see, we brought back the decimal points, but we still haven't gone. Sound often travels at different speeds of air as well, and depending upon things like humidity, air pressure, and especially temperature. At 0 degrees Celsius and 0% humidity, sound travels at 331 meters per second. It travels faster as the temperature and humidity rise. Now here before we're going to use C represents the speed of sound, C is the temperature, and H is humidity. And so here's our walking log formula. So as you can see, temperature factors in much more than humidity. Now let's just keep our equation up here and calculate what the speed of sound would be at 25 degrees Celsius and 50% humidity. So we do the calculation, we come up with 347.17 meters per second, which is faster than 343 meters per second. That's in there. Temperature humidity sensor. Now you're going to need to install a couple of libraries to use this code. Although we won't call one library in our code, that library is going to depend upon another one. So both need to be installed. Now unlike the maintain library, you're going to install this library directly within the Arduino IDE. And we'll do that using the library manager. So go to the sketch and go into the quick libraries and pick manage libraries, and this will bring up your library manager. Now this is a list of libraries available for your Arduino IDE but not necessarily installed. And there are two particular ones we're after. The first is the AMC315 library. So go to the search button and do AMC315. And this brings up the AMC315 library. Click the More Info link, and it'll open up a button on your side. Click the Install button. And the library is installed. Very simple. But as I said, this library is dependent upon another library called the Adafruit Unified Sensor library. So let's search it by Unified Sensor. Transfer the list of libraries, go down to the bottom, and right near the bottom, second to last on mine, is the Adafruit Unified Sensor library. Again, click the More Info, and click Install. And this will install that library. Now let's look at the code. So the first thing we're going to going to call that first library that we installed. So we'll include DHT.h. Remember, this library in turn will call another library, so we don't need to declare it in the code. And after that, we'll define a couple of constants. The first is DHT pin, which is where to do the pin of the DHT22 is connected. In my case, that's connected to Arduino pin 7. Now, if you chosen another Arduino pin profile, we'll put the connected to change the number accordingly. Next, we need to define the type of sensor, because this library is capable of driving a number of temperature and humidity sensors. We're using the DHT22, so we define the constant DHT type for the value of DHT22. By the way, it's also known as an AM23 voltage in the same parts. Next, we have to initialize the sensor, and we do that with this line. We pass the DHT pin and DHT type to it. And we'll define a couple of variables. One to store the humidity value, and the next one to store the temperature value. And we're making these blocks because we want decimal value. And after that, we go into our setup. Once again, we're going to be using our serial monitor to monitor the results. So we start the serial monitor at 9600 baud, and then we initialize the DHT sensor with the DHT begin. And then begin to loop. Now, the DHT sensor is able to find the stabilized while having time delay at the beginning of 2 seconds. Now, after the wait 2 seconds, maybe a little long, and you can experiment by reducing this time delay if you wish. Then after that, because we read the DHT22, it's quite easy to do. DHT.read humidity will get our humidity value, which is assigned to this variable, and read temperature will get the temperature value, which is assigned to this variable. And then we simply create these out on the serial monitor and repeat the loops for every 2 seconds with the beginning temperature and humidity value. So let's take a look to see if this is actually working on your tool. We'll go to our serial monitor, and we're getting the temperature and humidity value. By the way, my serial monitor has a little bug with the first line off the middle of the character turn. That's just normal for me. So as you can see, the temperature in the workshop is a little on the warm side, but not too bad. It's 51.5% humidity. So that will certainly factor into our speed of sound calculation. So here's a check we'll be using to integrate temperature and humidity into our speed of sound, maybe we can get more accuracy from our HCSR04. And through the navigate with the sketches that we've seen before. So we're going to include the DHT library for the DHT sensor, and we're going to include the loop library we did earlier. And then we're going to define a number of constants again between all these before the DHT pin 7, that's the data pin for the DHT22. DHT type is DHT22. The trigger pin for our ultrasonic sensor is connected between 10 of the Arduino, the echo pin to pin 13, and the maximum distance is set to 400 centimeters. So we initialize the ultrasonic sensor in the same fashion we had before. And then define a number of variables. Again, most of these you've seen before. A variable to store the humidity and the temperature value, another one to store the depth duration, another one for the distance. Now this one's this is the speed of sound in meters per second. And this one is the speed of sound in centimeters per microsecond, which is actually the value that you find more useful to calculate distance. And which are the number of iterations that we're going to be using on the training because we're going to use the iteration over that stabilizer rate. Again, we'll initialize the DHT sensor, we'll set up the serial monitor in our setup, and initialize the sensor over here. Okay, now we're going to go down to the loop. Now we've got this time delay again for the DHT22. Again, you could experiment with this. You might not have to give it a full 2 seconds because the delay rate is a bit. And then we read the humidity and temperature value from the sensor. Now here's what we do the calculation for the speed of sound. As you recall, it's addition of 331.4 multiplied by 0.606 times the temperature plus 0.0124 times the humidity. And then we'll give us the actual value for the speed of sound at this particular temperature and humidity. And we'll convert that to centimeters per microsecond by dividing everything by 10,000. And our duration, as we did before in the library, our duration is just somewhere between the beginning iterations. So we will 5 iterations and get the average duration. Now we're going to calculate the distance, same as we had before. The distance is a duration, which we're dividing by 50 because we're making a round trip, and multiplied by the speed of sound, the centimeters per microsecond. And finally, the send the results of the serial monitor. So let's look at the test machine because it's a bit more accurate now that we factor temperature and humidity. Alright, so sign up our new and sketch factoring temperature and humidity. So let's put it down at the 14 centimeter mark to start. Let's try to get this pretty accurate. 39.93, 39.96. 40.34, again, so this is here, of course, on my best side, 39.99, very close. Okay, down to 50 mark now. 49.95, 50.29, within a quarter of a centimeter, which is not too bad at all. Here's the 20 centimeter mark, 20.02, 20.09. It doesn't seem to be more accurate. Now, there's one other way that you can make your device even more accurate that I want to mention. I'm not going to demonstrate it here, it's just theory. It is quite possible that I may have the head of the stick together, therefore, not exactly lined up with the beginning of the ruler. I tried to do that. And I tried to line that ruler up with the outside of the transducer's surface rather than the grading on the front of it. So, it's possible that by moving the sensor back and forth just a little bit, I might even get some increased accuracy. And you can do that mechanically, or if you found out that the readings were always off, let's say a quarter of a centimeter in the same direction, simply add that at the end to compensate for any misalignment you have. So as you can see by having temperature and humidity, you can see the sound equation. We greatly improve the accuracy of our HCSR04. Now, there's a whole other trick with the HCSR04 I want to show you, and one of them that I want to show you now is how you can actually eliminate one of the wires that we're using to connect it to the Arduino. For example, you can put the echo pin and the trigger pin. So there are ultrasonic sensors that only have one pin out, and we actually can use the put an input and an output, so it sets the trigger pulse and you deliver back the echo pulse. And you can run the HCSR04 in 3-wire mode as well. I'm going to show you that right now. In order to run the HCSR04 in 3-wire mode, I simply take both the echo and trigger pins and connect them both to pin 10 of my Arduino. Again, if you use anything you want. I'll take a look at what I need to do with the code in order to account for that change. It's very simple. I use the library. All I've done is set both my trigger pin and my echo pin to point to pin 10. The rest of the sketch is absolutely identical. Okay, let's give this a quick test to make certain it works just as well in 3-wire mode. Put down 20 centimeters, 20.51, 20.03. Pretty good. Let's put 36 centimeters. 36.10, 36.31. It does indeed seem to work just as well with 3-wire mode as it does in 4-wire mode, and it's really here, of course, to state one of the idle pins on my Arduino. And this is something very handy when you're using more than one HCSR04 sensor. What you may indeed want to do is some robotics project may want a sensor in the front or in the back. In fact, you can connect a number of sensors up from the same library, makes it very easy. So now let's take a look at the circuit that has more than one HCSR04. So as I already have an HCSR04 in 3-wire mode, I decided to attach my second sensor in 3-wire mode as well. You don't have to do this, of course, you can attach them both in the conventional fashion with a separate trigger handle, and that's an end, and it works just fine. But here's how I hooked up my sensor. I took the 5 volts from the Arduino and attached it to the VCC on the HCSR04. I took both the trigger and the echo pins and tied them together because I'm working in 3-wire mode, and then I attached the pin number 5 of my Arduino. Well, of course, you could use a different pin number, you can just change the sketch accordingly. And then finally, I attached the ground to the Arduino's ground. Now, I've also tested DHT22 in my circuit, although I don't have it illustrated here because I thought it would just make the diagram a bit too busy. Now let's take a look at the sketch that I'm going to use to talk to the two different sensors. Now, this is just a modified version of the last sketch that we used. Now, you can see it starts off in exactly the same fashion. I include the library for the DHT sensor for the temperature and humidity, and of course I include the new pin library. Then I go on to define a number of constants, which again are very similar to our last sketch, these two are the DHT22. And these are the constants I've defined for the HCSR04. Now, you'll notice instead of trigger pin and echo pin, I showed it the trigger pin 1, echo pin 1, and trigger pin 2, echo pin 2 to represent the two different HCSR04s. Since I'm running 3-wire mode, I've got my trigger and echo pins pointing to the same direction. And so my trigger pin 1 and echo pin 1 are connected onto pin 10 of the Arduino, and trigger pin 2 and echo pin 2 are connected to pin 5. Again, if you elect to use different pins or use 4-wire mode, to change the numbers over here accordingly. And that's just since you're going to be shared between both of the sensors, and I've left it set at 400 centimeters. Now here is how we actually initialize two different HCSR04s. I use 2 main pins now, and each one of them has created a new object. The object components one are 1, and it's past the trigger pin, the echo pin, and the maximum distance. And it just reverts it, and it keeps also past the trigger pin, echo pin, and the maximum distance of. You can continue to add more sensors in the same class. Then after this, I just define a number of variables. Again, these are the same ones that you saw in the last sketch, with the exception of the fact that I was taking distance and duration and split them into 2 independent variables. So now I have duration 1 and duration 2, distance 1 and distance 2. Everything else again is the same as the last sketch. So we'll initialize the DHT sensor, and we're going to do the setup again with the serial monitor and turn the DHT sensor. Now, you've noticed over here, I've changed this delay slightly. I used to have this delay to 2 seconds. I've delayed it down to 1 second, and that's because there are more delays that I'm inducing in the sketch, so I didn't want the total delay to be too long. Again, I think I've been a little too aggressive delaying for a full second. So you can experiment by reducing that value, and it will probably work just fine. This is the same as before, where we get the temperature and humidity values and calculate the speed down. If you elect not to use the DHT22, you can substitute all of this with their standard 343 meter per second value to speed down. Now we go ahead with duration. The duration for the first sensor is measured over here using the iterations command like we did before, and then I've added a delay between the sensor readings. I've done this for a reason. I wanted everything to be able to stabilize before I read the stuff off the second sensor. Now, once again, I think I've been far too aggressive by adding a full second delay here, and you can probably reduce this by quite a bit. And if you may indeed want to do this in real life, I don't think you actually want a full second pass between these, because a moving robot can travel quite a distance within seconds. Then I just measured the second sensor duration using the similar type of command, 1 or 2 pin median durations, and then it basically the same as the last step. I calculate the distance for both using the duration values, and I send the results out to the serial monitor. All I'm sending out to the monitor this time is the value for distance 1 and for distance 2. I'm not including all of that temperature, humidity, and speed of sound information because the volume to get a bit too busy. So now we can see the sketch. Let's see how it works. So let's check out our dual HCSR04 arrangement. Now I've mounted my second HCSR04 on my spot-less breadboard, and it's at a right angle to the original one, so station back into my workbench over here. Now I don't think I've never filled out the rule of the line up correctly, particularly up in the case of the roughly around 10 centimeters large. And we're getting readings 10.70 centimeters, that'll bring a little bit closer, earlier 6.87 centimeters, so bring it further back to this, 21.97. So the second one is definitely making readings, and as is the first one, we'll put around the 20 centimeter mark, and we're getting 19.53, 19.8 on the first one, and back 14. I'm getting good reading down there, and another good reading over here. So those sensors are bumping in. Now, notice the slight delay in the readings, and that's important because delays range in the codes. As I said earlier, you can experiment by reducing those delay times in order to make your sensors respond quicker. And I don't have to our video of the HCSR04. I will just give you a better idea of how you can use this versatile components in some of your own designs, be they robotic projects or otherwise. Now, if you'd like to get a copy of the sketch that I with video, the easiest way to do that is to visit the accompanying article on the drone.workshop.com website. So you'll find a link to that article in the description of this video. One thing I've added to the website on all of the articles, including this one, is the source box. It has some handy links, plus links to zip files that include all of the codes that cover the article. So I think you'll find that very useful. Now, if you have any questions about what I've covered here today, please put them down in the comments. I'm looking in the comments from you guys, and I'll try to respond to them as quickly as possible. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. We're going to be watching it. So until next time, take care of yourselves. I hope to see you soon again in the workshop. Bye for now. If you've ever had the need to take a headphone or a line-level audio output and feed it into the microphone input of a computer or other recording device, then today's project will be perfect for you. Today in the workshop, we're going to deep into the small audio adapter box. It'll take a stereo line-level output and convert it to a proper level with stereo microphone input. So stay tuned and welcome to the workshop. Welcome to the workshop. Today I'm doing a different type of a project for you. It's different in the sense that it doesn't require a microcontroller, there's no programming or anything. It's actually a very simple, passive electronic device that I needed to build in order to solve the problem that I had creating videos here in the workshop. Now, the problem I had started off HDMI output for a Raspberry Pi or a workshop computer. wanted to take the output of the mixing console and feed it into the microphone input, and that's where I ran into a problem. Now, I tried doing this first with this cable. It's a very nice cable that has two RCA connections on one end and has a 3.5mm plug on the other end. I took the two RCAs and plugged it into the output of my microphone mixer, and the 3.5mm plug I fed it into the microphone input of the HDMI capture device, and then I made a test recording, and the sound was absolutely horrible. It was distorted, it had all kinds of noise and popping sounds and things in it, and thinking about it, it's pretty obvious why that would happen. There's actually two reasons. The first reason is that the output from my microphone mixer is far too high for the input that the microphone input needs on the HDMI capture device, and even when I turned the output level down, it was still distorted and noisy. The second reason is that microphone inputs have a DC signal that they use to power the microphone that are normally connected to them. But of course, I don't need that DC signal because I'm feeding the sound from the output of my mic mixer. So what I needed was a device that could both reduce the level and remove that DC signal, and I built one. There's this little box over here, and it has connections on each side. I use RCA connections because that's what works in my application. I have an input that I feed for the mic mixer, and an output that I use with that same cable I just showed you that gets fed into the HDMI capture device. Now, you can use this for other applications as well. Let's say you had your iPhone, your Android phone, and you wanted to use